Hey there, glad you found this replay and recording on Periscope. My name is Christine and I help new entrepreneurs, mostly in network marketing, get started and launched in their business and really know exactly what to do. More importantly though, create a system so that they can plug into and have success, but then also so that it duplicates within their team. So I'm that girl that will figure something out for you. I'll break it down like Cliff Notes and then I'll teach you how to do it so that you can have great success. Glad you're here. We're going to be talking about habits tonight and how to create a system that you can change bad habits as well as create new habits. And depending on what your goal is, some people may want to create that new habit of working out at a different time or eating healthier, drinking more water, or it might relate to your business. If you fail to do a certain activity in your business because it's a frog and you just don't like to do it, that's also something else that we could be focusing on. So we're going to talk about habits in multiple ways, creating new ones and changing bad ones. So if you're new to Periscope, welcome. I'm glad to have you on here. All you're going to do for the rules of it, so you know what's going on with all these fluttering hearts. The hearts are basically showing appreciation, I agree. So the way you do that is tap the screen, and it works in the replay as well. You just keep tapping the screen and the more hearts come. So as a viewer, it's a great idea to actually give a lot of hearts to the broadcasters just because it is their time that they are spending to give off training like this. And I think that's a good thing to do for broadcasters. And then also, if you want to share this, if you know this is a topic that someone on your team needs to know, or your friend who's been really trying to stick eating healthier or fitting in working out at a certain time and they need to know how to change a habit, what you're going to do, if you're an Android user, you're going to swipe up. But if you're an Apple user, you swipe to the right on your screen and you're going to see a little share button. I think it's like down around here. You're going to scroll down, you'll see share. You can grab the link and you can put it over on your Facebook or wherever you want, or you can just share it right to Twitter, wherever you want. So we got people jumping on and we're going to be asking live questions and I'm going to be going through some questions with them as well. And I'll of course welcome them. Thanks for coming on in, Sally and Jenny. Cool. Glad you were able to share this off with your team. I'm glad you guys are coming on. And you, of course, can chat in the comments. And if you have questions, feel free, of course, to put your questions in there. A little great tip if you are live and able to talk on the chat is you might want to actually put your name in your comments so I can easily see it and say your name. As well as if you are unsure, if you have a question that you really want me to answer, what you might want to do is before you send it, copy it. And then if it ever doesn't get seen, you could paste again easily and you could ask that question again. So hopefully that's good. Ooh, cool. Aaron's here. Anna's here. Glad to see you guys are jumping on. Awesome. And again, I really appreciate you sharing this. Definitely. How to copy, you just basically before you send the message, so write your message and then just hold your finger down on your message and you're going to have your messages pop up and saying, what do you want to do with it? Select all, and then just hit copy. That's all. Amber from Washington is here. LA is in the house. Glad you guys are jumping on. Wow, Misty from Maui's coming in. Janine's here. Jenny, cool. We got a lot of repeat people and I thank you so much. Honestly, this is like a community and I'm really glad that we're able to spend time together. It's a challenge to try to figure out what time to do these that are most effective for people to be able to jump on. And I'm trying to play around and actually try to figure out how to avoid some of the other popular people that you follow, because I know that we all cross-pollinate and many of you all want to be on someone else's. And so I'm trying to figure out when the best timing is to be on this. Oh, cool. We got Christy from Nova Scotia coming on in. Doug. Hey, Doug. Great to see you on here. Cool. So this is actually a really great platform that we can, again, create that community, keep chatting, and you can get your questions answered by jumping on to the people that you like to follow and learn from. And this has been a fantastic platform for it as well. But again, those of you who are just jumping on, I appreciate you coming on. My name is Christine, and I do help entrepreneurs, mostly independent contractors who are working in network marketing, be able to launch their businesses. And I'm that girl that likes to figure things out for people, break it down, and create a system out of it, and then teach people how to do it using a system that will duplicate so that they don't just have success, but their team also has success. So I'm kind of like the Cliff Notes girl. I got through English, high school English, by reading the Cliff Notes, except for The Great Gatsby. That was the one book that I did read in total, and I don't know why, but I just like that book. So I'm glad. Oh, I'm so glad that you are learning from me, Leslie. We are going to have a great topic then tonight. Tonight is about creating habits and changing bad habits. So again, this is relative to whatever you are looking at in your life in terms of what's a big goal for you. Is it that you are trying to change a health habit? Are you trying to add in weight training and you just don't do that and you're really trying to make that a habit? Or is it a bad habit? Do you snack at night? Something like that. I've got a bad habit I'll talk about that I do at night. And then, or is it in your business? So for instance, a bad habit in your business is that you avoid following up with people who want to do business with you just because of fear, or maybe you don't even share the business because that is a fear for you and it's a habit that you've created and you want to create a new habit. So I'm going to give you guys some great tips and techniques on how you can figure out why this is a problem, how you can change it, and then some techniques that you can start to implement to start making those changes. All right, we got a good amount of people. Again, if you can, appreciate you sharing this. So Apple users, you swipe to the right. Android users, you swipe up. And you just scroll down and you're going to see the word share, and that will pop up Twitter. You can also just grab and copy the Facebook link. And there's still room in here. So for instance, if there's more than 150 people in the room, you won't get a seat to be able to broadcast. But we're only at 77. So if you need to jump out of the broadcast right now to go put it over on your Facebook page, feel free to go do that and then just come right back on in and you'll still have a seat. All right, glad to have you. Let's get rolling. So I hope this is going to be a good topic for you guys. I know, I'm so sorry, Mary. I like to teach, so I'm teaching you guys a lot. I appreciate that, Runner 95 to 925, that you shared this. This is a great topic, and I get asked this a lot because I know, especially when people are starting to try to build their own home business or just change their lifestyle in general, it's really challenging to figure out how can you change what you already have going on in your life to fit something new or to change your routine and something that we sometimes don't want to change, but we know we have to, but we really don't want to. So this is going to be able to help you in those aspects of your business and your health as well. So the thing when we are working with identifying what is a habit. So I followed a guy, his name is Charles Duhigg, and he is the writer of the book, The Power of Habit. Now he discusses that basically the habit that we've created, it's just the cyclic culture that we've created within ourselves that we follow those patterns, and that's why it's so difficult to make a change when we do want to add that change of waking up at 5 in the morning to do our workouts. I know for me, I'm not a morning person, especially since I go to bed at 2 to 3 in the morning. Now, so because of you guys, I'm now in this moment of I gotta scope every night. So I've been scoping every night, which keeps me up later. And especially since dang Shalene Johnson wants to go late at night. Are you guys gonna tell her to not scope the same time I do? Please. I don't know how to change this. I'm gonna have to change this somehow or another though, so we can mix and cross-pollinate. But the power of habit, it all starts with your initial desire to go take that bad habit that you want to change. So I'm going to focus on a couple different topics that will make sense. So let's just first pick one of the very most common habits that is not really relative to business, but it's more like a personal habit. And it might be snacking or for instance, mine is when I get done at night on the computer, what I love to do is my moment to shut off is to go watch my DVR of all the mindless junkie shows. You know, all the housewife shows, Big Brother, I watch them all. The ghost shows, I watch a bunch of different shows. And I love that part of my night because the house is quiet and I get to just sink in my big couch and I turn the fireplace on. Yes, here in Texas in 90-something degree weather, I have my fireplace on. And I just like to snuggle and watch TV and eat. So that's my bad habit because that's the cue. The cue is I'm done here. I'm now walking into the kitchen and the great room and I'm turning all the lights off, getting the house set so the dogs go to sleep. And then I flip the fireplace on and then I sit there on the couch. And those times that I'm not getting a snack or something to eat like popcorn or even chocolate or something, that's all my mind's thinking of is I'm thinking. Drinking wine is another one, mine too. What's your favorite wine? What is your favorite wine? Tell me what your favorite wine is, guys. I want to know if you drink the same kind of wine as me. But like that's what I think of is I think of I'm on the couch and I'm watching my shows. Merlot. What are you drinking here? Eat plus TV. I know, Stacy. Chianti, Cabernet, Pinot Noir, Noir. Wow, we got Blanc, Wolf Bass. I don't even know what that is. Sweet ones. Moscato. Hey. Yay, that's me. I'm a Riesling and a Moscato girl. I love sugar, Shiraz, Pinot Noir, Cabernet. Like it. You guys got a good wide range. That's my bad habit. And so to change that, I would have to change what I do post leaving my desk and my computer. So let me go through this. So let's pick a scenario. Pick a scenario in your day that relates to something, just say health-wise. Let's not go into business-wise if you're working with the business. Let's think about health-wise. Is it that you pick your kids' foods and eat that without thinking about it? Do you lick your fingers after you are making food and eat excess calories? Is it that you go for a second glass of wine when you know you should be only having one tonight? So what is your bad habit with food? So let's identify that. And again, I discussed what mine is. Mine's the couch at night. So think of that moment in there. Okay, so basically, we have a cue. So there's a cue that will initiate that desire of you going to do or get that activity. So it typically is a cue that is the time of day, the environment, certain people, maybe in an emotional state, an action of events. So now that I'm saying all those things, are other cues coming up to you? Here's another one for me. So the cue is going to the movies. When I go to the movies, I really am going to eat popcorn. I want to eat that popcorn. I'm going to. So I can't go to the movies if I'm trying to keep my diet on a clean path for a while. I can't go to the movies because I want that popcorn. And I'll just beat myself up that whole movie thinking about that popcorn if I don't get it. So that cue is there. Or, for instance, when I used to work in the hospital, I would work in the hospital, and I don't remember what my shift was, but it was, I think it ended at 3, and always around 1 o'clock, that was the time where everybody started to kind of get that crash. And that's when I would always go to the break room and make coffee with my vanilla creamer or whatever it was that I was using at the time. And that was a cue. So it was the time of day. And it was also people, because I had my coffee buddies that I would go and have coffee with. So there's different cues that are initiating you to go do that activity, be it by yourself. So what are some of yours? So the one that you put in your mind, what was the cue that made you go finish and do that activity that you don't want to? So yours is people, Miss El Figo. I'm trying to read your name. So people, what was your cue? What is your cue on some of the activities that are making you go do that? I'm just going to switch my camera a little bit. I don't want that glare on that box there. Somebody tell me. I want to know what your cues are. I got to turn myself a little bit so my box isn't there. After putting the kids down. Ooh, that's a good one. Yep. But just being unprepared, tired. That's an emotional state, definitely, your health. Going out to dinner and not having wine. That's mine. I'll tell you another one that happens with my husband. Out shopping. Yes. Husband home. Those husbands. This is what my husband does. When we're in an emotion of trying to really make good choices, being tired after work, people going out to eat, always expecting dessert. Yes, Rochelle, that's a great one. Sat down to relax with your wife. Yep. That's that moment where you're just kind of chilling and connecting, husbands, whenever you go out shopping. I love these. These are perfect. So that's like another one that my husband does. This is the cue. So the cue is when we're trying to eat clean and we're on a good exercise regimen, our bad is we go out to dinner and we're not the couple that when we go out to dinner, we choose healthy. We're not that couple. When we go out to dinner, we choose what we want to eat. So I'm not that person that says, nope, I'm going to have a salad. Because when I get there, I first of all take his cue, which I learned a little quick tip, and I'll share it with you, that when he orders, or I ask him what he's going to order, I don't know if you've ever done this, asked people, what are you going to get? And then they say, well, I'm going to get a bacon cheeseburger. And in your mind, you were just all settled on getting that salmon, and now you're like, I'm going to get that bacon cheeseburger too. I always like jump in. Okay, I will too. Perfect. We'll do it together. I do that. Here's my husband's cue. So when we're home, it's like Friday, and we're eating clean, and we both know that we shouldn't be going out for dinner because we know we will just go off, and it will probably turn into a weekend bad fest. This is what he says to me. So what are we doing for dinner? That's what he says. That's the cue. Because it's my decision then, but we know it's him because he's the one that really wants to go out for dinner, but he always says, what are we doing for dinner? And that means we're going out and we're choosing bad food. And I'm like, don't ask me that. You can't ask me that if you want to stay clean this weekend because I will turn it into a weekend affair. I really will. So that makes sense. Then you have a cue that will initiate you to go into that bad habit. All right, so now the next part of it is the routine. So the routine is pretty much the behavior of how it all happens. So for instance, the path that you take to the coffee room, or the path for me on what I do here. So the behavior is that, I shut off my computer and all my stuff, my lights go down, I plug in my phone because it's drained from doing periscopes, and then I turn off all the house lights and I turn my fireplace on and I sit in my couch and I sit. That's a routine. And so that behavior then that I'm now sitting there is thinking about it. So she's asking, what's the cue? So the cue is the trigger that makes you want to go and take that action towards the bad habit that you're trying to change. Okay, so we're talking about a change of habits. We're not talking yet about adding a new one. It is so hard, Asia. I completely agree. The trigger. So the second part is the routine. So now thinking about that point that you guys had picked in your mind with the bad influence or the habit that you're trying to change or avoid, what is the routine that leads up to that? Is it when you're cooking dinner that you have to take care of your kids' plates because they don't take care of them, and because the plates are still sitting there, you eat the last chicken nuggets? Is that it? Well, maybe then we got to change that routine, which is an easy one. Thanks so much. Mary, I appreciate it. She was repeating the first one. What's the cue? That's the great thing about you guys. You're so helpful in that you will help repeat my little points. And these are 3 points, so you guys all know. So thank you so much for that. I totally forgot. I lost my scope moment for a moment here. Hey, Vlasi's in the house. Cool. So that's the thing, is there is routine. Don't like wasting food. Okay, I grew up really ridiculously poor, and my dad made us sit all night long at the table while we ate everything. And at one point, I jammed a hamburger in the stacks of newspapers because we used to stack all the newspapers, up for fire, because we would use fire to heat the downstairs. And I forgot about it. And then there was maggots in there. Yeah, that's what happens. But I was that person of the clean your plate club. I know that. But you have to let that go. That's like a really hard thing to do, but you got to keep working on that. And that's going to be changing a habit. So this is all part of it, okay? So you all got that then? So you've got the idea of the behavior and the routine. It's just a certain path. Is it a certain influence of people that it's always on Friday night? So this is ours. Friday night. We're going out for dinner because it's Friday night. And that's our routine, unless we had something else planned. Okay, so we cool? That's first one is the cue, which is your trigger, which initiates you to go take that action of the bad habit that you want to change. The second one is the routine, the behavior itself. So now, the third one that we're on is the reward. So the reward is, what are you getting out of doing that? So for me sitting there on the couch in the dark with a fireplace, watching my housewife shows, eating caramel corn or whatever I've got in the pantry, my reward, I can't really exactly identify it, but my reward just must be just a feeling of comfort. It's comfortable. I want to be toasty, comfortable, and that reward is just entertainment, that action of food and feeling good. The sugar. So there's a reward of why you're doing that. Now, it's not always food. So let's discuss that. So some of the reward might actually be, it's time with your friends. Because that's a reward. Or, so like someone said that they like to sit there with their wife. That's time with your wife. And sitting there just, having a bottle of wine. And, maybe you shouldn't be having a bottle of wine every night or whatever it is, whatever your goal is. I mean, obviously everyone's goal is different. But sometimes it's the people and the reward of who you're with, or maybe that for instance, when you've lost 5 pounds, you go celebrate. Let's go out for dinner. That's your reward. So there's certain levels that you are now connecting to this behavior. Social time with friends is a big one. So the thing is that we have to try to figure out exactly what are we getting that euphoria from doing that habit. What is our reward? So can you think of that? So some of you guys have started saying what yours were. Some of you said you like to spend time with friends. And thanks so much for those hearts. So as a reminder for those of you who are new, tapping the screen gives hearts and lets me know this is a good topic for y'all. Watching with my husband. Oh, he needed to hear this. Ruby, cool. Hanging with people that aren't like-minded. Okay, what's the cue? Oh, she's regurgitating it. Thanks again there, Mary. Date night. Yes. Happiness. There's no reward in procrastination. Drinks on the weekends after a stressful week. That's the emotional state that we're connecting. So that's a great one that you said there, Ruth, is, for instance, a stressful week at work. You're just done. You're tired of the demands that your manager put on you, and it was so busy, and you just want to get out and go get some big fat ice cream sundaes, you know, whatever it is. That's your reward, your release, and you feel like, I feel good now after. But there's that feeling that we're really connecting for it. So now what we have to do to change a bad habit, there's one critical place that if you just put a disruptor, you will be able to start to change a bad habit. So we've identified the 3 places. The first one is the cue. The second one is the routine. And then the third one is the reward you get from doing that activity. Why do you do it? What do you love? What do you get out of it? That's how you work. I need to keep the TV off, or being on the ER for a week. Oh, I get that. I used to work ER. I know that, especially on a full moon. Full moons, not gonna lie, full moons are it. So those 3 things. Okay. So with that, knowing that we have those 3 areas, there's one critical place that if you change something, if you add a disruptor into that location, you're going to be able to start to change the effect of that whole habit that you've created. And it's going to be repetition, of course. So that disruptor, I printed it out for y'all so that you can see, has to come. What do you think? Before the cue? Can you change that moment at like 3 o'clock when you really want a cookie? Can you change that feeling that you get? That's really hard. I'll share it with you. Here you go. I printed it up for you. So here it is. Let me make it so it's not so glaring in. I'm backing it up. So you got to disrupt it. So you see my lightning bolt right there? Right before the routine is the critical point that you need to change something. And that is what's going to initiate to change that habit, that bad habit that you are trying to change here. So this is where we're going to help to try to change a bad habit. So again, you're going to have that cue. You're going to have that feeling. Yeah, 3 o'clock is a shaky time. So then as you get up, you got to do a different path. So for me, if I want to change that habit of nighttime sitting on the couch with the household all quiet, I might need to change which room I go to. So we have a different room, a movie room that I could go to instead. It doesn't have a fireplace. The dogs aren't there, which I would probably prefer because they're always fighting. But so instead of me leaving here, I could go upstairs to the movie room. And that would be a totally different environment because I now disrupted the routine. So now when you get that urge in the afternoon when you're at work for the junk food or the soda out of the machine, what's your normal path to go and get that? You need to change that. Maybe instead you go outside for a walk. Or maybe you go and talk to a coworker, just about anything. So you might need to change that routine instead. So that's going to be able to change that habit as well. Have a healthy snack ready. That's another great one, is to have something else, for instance, if it is food related, that would be able to replace that. So that is a definite way to be able to change bad choices. But I know I'm very guilty of it myself. I could have healthy snacks with me all day long. Almonds, apples, bleh, I got it all. But if I'm going to want something bad, I could easily be swayed and I can choose that bad food. So good, eat before the movies, I could try. But again, it's that environment. So for me, I like having the popcorn and jamming popcorn into my face when I'm watching a movie. I like doing that. And I don't think that I should omit that from my life. It's just during certain moments when I'm really trying to be better about eating clean, because I personally don't run on the path of remove all bad food from your life forever, because it's not going to happen. It won't happen with me. I like bad food, and I know there's certain people that will ride you hard about, that's processed, that's got sugar. Fine, yell at me, I don't care. But I know what I'm choosing is going to be bad food, but I don't do it all the time. So I don't think I need to omit it forever out of my life. Just certain points, when I'm trying to be on a good pattern, I can't then have that. So that's something else to think about. Oh my gosh, no, Stephanie, sorry, I'm shocking you. I don't eat healthy all the time. Definitely not. All right. So that makes sense? So now let's turn the tables now into how to create a healthy, good habit. So let's now go into the point where, for instance, you want to do something for your business. So think about something in your business right now that you are working on, or whatever you're changing in your life. Again, it could be still health related and something good you want to add in. So if it's health related, you want to start adding in lifting weights, or you want to start doing cardio first thing in the morning rather than waiting until the night. So it doesn't always have to be that. Or say, for instance, every day at lunch, you want to at least have a salad because you don't really eat vegetables much. So you want to start adding in more. So you want to start doing more yoga, a regular workout time. Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I am human. I am not a robot for sure. I hate when I'm stressed. How do I change that, Kenzie? So it's a matter of identifying that whole routine and that pattern of when you get that trigger of stress, what's the routine, and adding a disruptor right before that. Meal planning. Cool. Yes, I know. I eat unhealthy and healthy foods. I want PIO to get easier. Of course, that's going to be with practice for sure. So, all right, so that's it, thinking about adding on a good habit. So a good habit of, again, exercise, or if you're thinking about in your business, a good habit for your business that will grow your business is doing the activity that will consistently grow your business. So for my business that I do, it's about getting out there and physically or online, reaching out to someone and telling them about our business opportunity. Or maybe it's reaching out to someone who keeps asking me about how do I lose these 10 pounds and say, okay, enough already. I'm tired of just answering this and you keep letting more weeks pass. Let's decide and do something. Me getting out there. Maybe that action of that consistency. So I've been training entrepreneurs for 15 years. And in the past 7 years, I've been working predominantly with network marketers, helping them launch their business, but also how to figure out how to fit it into their busy life, but focus on simple systems that produce results. That's my forte. So if you're just joining me, thanks so much for jumping on. My name is Christine, and we're talking about how to create new habits that are good, of course, as well as get rid of bad habits. So this is what we're talking about. And now, if I've been working with entrepreneurs for that long, I see this all the time. I could have people join my business with me that could be potential rock stars. They could be my next millionaire. But they fail to get over themselves because they never allow themselves to change their current lifestyle and habits, that they fail to understand that they have to create a new habit if they want to build something new. And that's maybe doing a type of activity that they've never done before, or maybe beefing that activity up, or just getting better at it. So pick something that will be able to help you be able to move forward in your business. So whatever it is in your mind right now, you're picking it, right? So is it with your health and fitness? Is it something that you know you should be doing in your business, but you just let the day go by? Or, oh, I know I should do it, but I'm scared. Or you know that you should be doing it, but you just keep saying you don't know how. Whatever it is, let's pick that, identify it, because you know that that's a critical point, that if you just did it, your business would grow. And that's what's holding you back. Yes, eat that frog. Okay, so before I go into how you can start adding in that new habit, I just got to give you an example. So today, so confused, because yesterday I got my hair done, surprisingly blown out, and I was like, great, now I can't work out tomorrow or today. You just did my hair. My hair is straight. So today, when I was going to work out, this is why I didn't scope this afternoon, because I was letting the day fly by, and before I knew it, it was 1:30 or 2 o'clock, and the cleaners were in our house today, and they were waiting for me to get out of my office to go clean it. And I skipped karate in the afternoon because I was still working. And then I knew I was going to do a Periscope in the afternoon, but then I also had to work out. And then I also had my chiropractor appointment and then take my daughter to karate coming up at 4. So I had like all of this stuff in the afternoon, but I kept working. And before I knew it was 1:30 or 2 o'clock. And I said to myself, I could easily just skip working out again today because I skipped it yesterday because I had my hair did. So what I said to myself is, I'm going to, because I didn't want to lift weights. I just wanted to watch Ellen DeGeneres. I've got a ton of DVR of her still from from May that I'm still watching. I'm so behind on her. So I was like, I really want to watch Ellen DeGeneres, but I'm not going to watch Ellen until I lift first, then get on the elliptical. So I gave myself that reward that I will not get Ellen until I do what I don't want to do first, then get on the elliptical. So that was how I was able to kind of get through some of that. Okay, here's how you do it. The challenge with creating a new habit and the problem really that we self-create as ourselves is we tend to go gangbusters. You know, you're really trying to like change your world in a big capacity. This is why many people who aren't used to exercising or eating healthy and they come up to the New Year's resolution, and me being in the fitness industry, I see this every year that the New Year's resolutioners come out and it lasts for 30 days. And then before you know it, February, the gyms are empty again. So the thing is that the problem with the New Year's resolution people is they're going out like gangbusters. They're trying to change too many habits all at once, and it's fine for a short amount of time, but then it just is going to collapse and they're going to give up and they're going to go right back to what they were doing. So they're trying to add in exercise all the time. They're trying to add in eating perfectly clean and cottage cheese and grapefruit and iceberg lettuce. I mean, that's what they eat. I don't know why they do that, but that's what they think they have to eat when they diet. So that's what someone will do, trying to change their bad habits all for these good ones, but they just go all about it wrong way, like a gangbuster. So think about this. This is the analogy that Charles Duhigg gave. Do you floss your teeth 3 times a day? If you do, say yes. I would love to know if you do. I don't, by the way. I'm lucky if I do it every day. Nope, you don't. Does anybody? So yes or no. You don't need to admit it. No. Floss confuses you. Nice, funny. Change one at a time. Yeah, I did say that. So we're going to talk about that. So it's flossing, you know, you go to the dentist and they say, well, how many times a day do you brush your teeth? And how many times are you flossing? You know, you should be flossing. And I go to the dentist when I get them clean, and I always tell them, I brush once a day. And I'm sorry, that's just what it is. I can't help it. But I try, but sometimes it just doesn't always happen. So just floss the ones you want to keep. That's the good one, right? That's it. Okay, so he gave this little analogy. So when I was talking about the New Year's resolutioners, they try to change too many things at once. So this is why, you know, for me working in the fitness industry, when I'm trying to help someone change their goals into their fitness, I don't make them change a bunch of things. I like to kind of ramp them up so that they have a small level of success first, and then they get more motivated to do more. And one of the easier things that you can do is, of course, possibly just, it doesn't require more time. It just focuses on their nutrition. So even something as simple as this, say someone is really trying to make changes in their lifestyle, and all you want to do is start to have them start to focus better on their meal plans. One thing you could do is say, all I want you to do is for breakfast, eat this healthy breakfast, and give them an example and say, and then for the rest of the day, still try to choose healthier foods, but all I really want you to change and focus on is just eat an amazingly healthy breakfast. That's it. So if you could focus on one small area, this is a little trick in a mindset, that when someone is starting their day off and they're consciously thinking about choosing healthy foods, they then start thinking about it the rest of the day while they're choosing other foods, that they don't want to ruin their efforts that they already started in the morning. Have you done that? Like when you've gone and you started eating healthy, but then you had a bad lunch, like you went out to lunch with your friends and you had a bad lunch. How was the rest of your day's meals? Did you just say, forget it, this day's shot. I'm going to have that candy bar now. I'm going to have those cookies in the break room. I know I do that. I just wrecked my hair big time. Yeah, one good choice leads to another. I am so guilty of this myself. I will let it just domino for the rest of the day. Oh, well, this day's done. And then just pick back up tomorrow. So if you can help someone just change one good habit and stick to it, that will then multiply. And that, of course, goes with your teeth. So this is the example that he gave. So there's a trigger. There's a trigger with us flossing. Of course, we're brushing our teeth. And when we're done brushing, then, of course, floss. So rather than going through all your teeth, just floss one. Just one. Just floss one. One, done. If you could just do one, and you do that consistently without thinking about it, then move up to two. And you just add on 2 teeth brushes. And then you get 2 done. That's it. Just keep adding once the first part has become a habit. So with that person trying to eat healthier, rather than saying, here, follow this amazingly restrictive meal plan that you're going to hate all the foods and do this. That's not going to work for everyone. They'll do it for a couple days. They'll get disgruntled. They'll get headaches because their body's going to be in a withdrawal of getting rid of all the extra sodium and sugars and everything. So they're then just going to think it's about dieting as to why they feel so crappy. But it's not. It's because their body is detoxing. That's really what it's doing. It's not the dieting. And then because we gave them a meal plan to follow, all they do is obsess about, oh my gosh, when's my next meal? When's my next meal? Do I have the food? So those are the things to think about, right? Give us an example of a habit you successfully changed. Oh boy, I really would have to think about it. Because I mean, obviously there's so many different types of habits. Oh, I really have to think about that one. I wasn't prepared for that one. I gave you my bad. I told you my bad stuff. But I can tell you, I'll have to think about that one. I don't have it right off the top of my head. So that's something to think about, is if we could just set them up with one good breakfast and they do that for a week's time and they feel good and they're like, I really like that. I really like that breakfast that you set up. I'm really wanting to start to kind of make better choices. And I was doing this. Is that a good idea? And then what you could do is to say, perfect. If you can just make your lunch have these changes or tweaks to it, this is a great type of lunch to have for the weeks. So then now we're moving into a bigger progressive state where things are going to start sticking. So like for instance, with nutrition shouldn't be restriction. It's not a temporary aspect. It should be a lifestyle choice where you understand how to choose the right foods to be able to make those changes. So that's something of how we're thinking about with making food changes. So now with how do we actually make these points in our business change? Here's the key. Remember we talked about a trigger? There's a trigger or an anchor. So there's a trigger and an anchor. The trigger is the action of what you're going to do before that you're going to add on this new habit. So now to give you this example, of course the triggers are we need to of course wake up. We go in and we go into shower, get ready, and we brush our teeth. That is all part of our routines. We have to find that anchor out of that morning routine that we can easily tie the new habit to that we won't forget. So if your new goal was to floss 1 tooth a day, would it be logical to choose the anchor of when you go out to the kitchen and make your coffee to be the moment when you go then floss that 1 tooth? Obviously not. They're not connected. So obviously you're going to connect flossing the 1 tooth to the teeth brushing because that's a logical connection. I'm going to give you one for business. This one is a super simple one. One of the biggest challenges that I have new entrepreneurs struggle with is finding time to call people to either follow up with them about the business idea of joining the business with them or getting a product from them, or that aspect of really fitting that into their day. So they say that they have no time. I have no time to call people. I can email them, but that's an escape, So if you have no time to call someone, there's some anchors in your day. Some of you guys already talked about that earlier, where you say that, for instance, with the food, that your anchor is when the kids go to bed. That's when you will go get the bad food. That's an anchor time. So when the kids go to bed, that's an anchor time. And Mary's saying it exactly. Driving is an anchor. So if you have to drive to work, whether it be 5 minutes or 10 minutes away or 2 hours if you're in LA traffic, Dallas traffic, or wherever traffic you got traffic, that's an anchor time. And a lot of the times, for instance, for me, I like to choose listening to podcasts. I've been listening to Periscopes, but it's honestly really hard to listen to Periscopes while driving. I'm kind of going to not do that anymore because I just want to watch the person and also see what other people are saying too. And it's obviously dangerous. So I can't have the phone near me, and I'm just actually going to avoid that activity altogether. So I'm just listening to podcasts. But if there's something where I need to do it in my business and I don't have a good habit yet, I need to put that anchor. So for instance, I've got a family member who's a smoker, and they also drink 6 to 8 cans of Mountain Dew a day. So in trying to help them change that activity, I've been trying to find out, well, where's the anchors? When do you smoke? It's always when they're getting ready for work in the morning. They get ready and then they get in the car and they're driving to it. They got that anchor again to light up again. And then at work, there's anchor points of when they're going to be drinking that Mountain Dew because of a certain time of day, a certain meeting they have to attend. You know, people go into those meetings and they get their stuff. I was that girl. Going into a meeting, I would make sure I had my food with me, and my water with me, whatever I had, I would make sure I had because I was going in for a meeting. So there's anchors that we don't even pay attention to. But if we want to tie a brand new habit against in our life, we have to find the anchor that makes sense. So how can we effectively add on a new habit? If your new habit is to get up earlier to start working out, and you say you have to start getting ready at 6 o'clock in the morning for work, and you say I'm going to get up at 5 to start working out, that's probably not a good idea to make that 1 hour so much further ahead. So for instance, maybe your anchor initially would be at 6 o'clock, you get up, but before you get in the shower, you do some push-ups, you do some squats, you do some lunges, just do some quick right before you get ready for work. I'm sure you could fit that in. But you start to anchor in activity before what you normally are doing. Thank you so much again, Mary, for recapping. She's so very helpful. So does that make sense with the anchor? Now with business, again, that critical point, people who say they don't have time for the core activities that grow their business, which are reaching out to people, following up to people. Reaching out to people, following up with people are the core activities that personally grow their business. You have to find anchor points. So when I was in the initial stages of growing my business, my anchor points were when my kids went to sleep, I came downstairs and I would run a training webinar and I would go through my emails and follow up with them. I had a system and that always worked. When my daughter would take her nap, that was when I would hurry up and call people to follow up with them because I had an hour or two of quiet house to be able to call them, to be able to get my follow-ups done. So there's anchors throughout that you have to identify and figure out where it's going to be. So hopefully that makes sense. You guys have any questions? I've been talking a little bit. And thanks again for jumping on. I hope that you guys are getting some information out of this. Again, my name is Christine, and I'm that person that will just figure out something that's difficult for you. I'll break it down like Cliff Notes, and I will share it to you so that you can easily implement it and have success. Please explain the anchor point again. Yep, totally. So basically the anchor is where it's something that you normally do in your day. So it's a normal activity in your day. Think about your routine. You don't have to think about doing this because it's just your routine. Brushing your teeth, hitting the alarm, taking a shower, driving to work, or I'm not going to say getting coffee. I mean, it could be. But when you get to work and sitting at your desk, what is the first thing that you do? Do you go on Facebook? Or do you open up your email? That's an anchor. We've got these anchors that we do throughout the day. So now if you're trying to create a new habit, you're going to start with that philosophy of that small, simple activity first. So don't think I'm going to exercise for an hour before work. Just say, I'm just going to fit in 10 squats before I get in the shower. And you anchor it to right before the activity is that you are wanting to add it to. So that same thing with work. Here's with people who are Every time you have to pee, chug a glass of water. Yes, that's another thing. So that's something that a lot of people don't drink enough water. So if people want to add more water, before you have to go to the bathroom, you have to drink 16 ounces of water. Who said that? Someone said, what was a habit that Stephanie did? Stephanie said, what have I changed? Actually, that was it. One of them, obviously a lot, was I would not remember to drink water until kind of midday. And then I would start to drink my water because I would kind of surround it around my workout. I anchored drinking water to when I worked out. So what I changed was drinking 16 ounces of water first thing when I woke up. So every time of what I do, as soon as I wake up, I go and I get 16 ounces of water and I drink that. And to tell you the truth of where I was able to tie that anchor in with a habit was by doing a program that was for 21 days that detoxed your body. And part of the program to get the results for it was wake up and drink 16 ounces of water and take your pills, because then 30 minutes later you can then eat your first meal. So I actually trained it for those 21 days right through that point right there. Yeah, I always shoot for, I always go minimum 100 ounces for me, but on average, I usually get about a gallon with my inclusiveness of my pre-workout drinks as well and stuff like that. So those are some ideas to think about of how to get that anchor. Now, the activity with your business, this is the last point I'm going to talk about, is when people are trying to build their business online, they say that they're building their business online and that they're constantly working and they're constantly talking to people. But then before you know it, they've been on the computer for a couple hours and they've kind of done nothing because they've wasted their time just kind of surfing around, skating around the different social media platforms and kind of not really doing the real activity. Obviously, social media is more entertaining than actually business building. Of course, I want to do that too. But a bad habit is when you come to work. Thanks so much, Doug, for staying on. When you come to work, you want to make sure that you actually get what you need done first. So we talked about it before of that priority list of what is the critical step that you need to do in your business to get it done so that you can make changes in your business. That has to get done. So basically, much like my workout today, you can't go on Facebook until you do that number one activity of the day. That's it. So if it's following up with people, then you can't go on Facebook in the morning until you go and send those follow-up messages to the people on your list. That could be your new training point of anchoring it. And then once you've done that, you now can go to Facebook. You've now at least rewarded yourself that good behavior. So hopefully this is making sense. And that's what I got for you guys tonight. If you're going to come on tomorrow, here's what I'm talking about tomorrow. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. Productivity tricks that will get you to do more every day. So some productivity tips that are going to help you be able to get more things done every day. Set a timer, 30 minutes of business activity, then short break. That's part of tomorrow's stuff too. That's a good one. So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. Do you guys have any questions? My son got up and asked me to rub his back. Oh, so cool, Aaron. Go for it. While we were doing this, I heard my son, his bedroom is right up above me, and he talks in his sleep. I do myself as well. I think it's just more active when you're a kid. And I was listening to him, wondering if he was playing, but I think he was having like a dream or something. It was crazy. Oh, thanks so much for jumping on here. Go to bed. I know you got to go to bed. Thanks so much, Kristen. Appreciate it. All right. Well, I love all the hearts, and they're matching my shirt right now. Do you see? They're matching my shirt. Date night. Woo! That's right. You're having a date with me, Diane. Oh, she laughs in her sleep. So does my daughter, too. I'm a sleepwalker, too. Perfect. Yeah, so tomorrow, again, is going to be some tricks to increase productivity and get more things done in your day. That's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. And it's going to be tomorrow afternoon because I just don't know if I'm going to be doing Friday nights or not. I just don't know. But I do need to find a time, again, that's going to work for me in the nighttime, as well as the other people that you guys are following, because I know you're trying to really get some information from a lot of people, and there are certain people that conflict with their timing too. So I'm going to try and play around with that too. Hopefully this has been helpful. I appreciate all this love. You guys are really giving me some good love. Well, I guess now my night is done. You guys now know what I'm going to go do. What time? Usually in the afternoon. And again, tomorrow I do need to put a priority of working out. So I'm going to probably bet you it will be before working out, because I've got Friday and I don't know if we're going to be going out for dinner unless my husband says, what are we doing for dinner? But it would probably be, I usually do it between 1 and 3 Central Standard Time. So that's 2 and 4 Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure what time zone you're all on. Do we have any questions about anything? And hey, did you leave your audio questions for me? Go to speakpipe.com/Christine Dwyer. If you want to be featured on my podcast or on these Periscopes, your auditory, your question played live, go to speakpipe.com/Christine Dwyer and ask your question. Go to bed earlier so you can work out earlier. I'm not a morning workout person. I am not. I wake up and I walk like an old lady because I have to move first. I teach Turbo Kick on Tuesday mornings, and that's hard enough for me to get out and go do that. But I work out best right around 1 or 2 o'clock. Are you posting the pic you shared somewhere? Oh, I got another pic for you guys I didn't discuss. No, I can put this up. I'll put this on my Facebook, or you could take a screenshot. So if you want to take a screenshot, I got one more picture I'm going to hold up for those 35 of y'all that's still on. Okay? I teach over at Lifetime Fitness in Colleyville, Texas. Teach Turbo Kick. So here we go. I'm going to show it in parts. So how can you change a behavior? Step 1. Here's step 1. Get very specific on the behavior that you want to change. So what's the new behavior? Can't read backwards. Do you want? I was like, what's that saying, Bo? 2 is make it easy. 1 tooth. How can you make it so super silly easy that you just, it would be impossible if you didn't finish it. Like it would be insanely dumb if you didn't do it. It's so easy. It's 1 tooth. It's 1 tooth. And then 3, let me see what I'm saying here. Step 3 is trigger the behavior. And that's by tying it to an anchor. So what's the prompt, natural or designed? So you're going to trigger the behavior. Natural is, or designed is where you are anchoring it to something. That's what you're going to trigger it to. So that's the designed trigger. Does that make sense? Cool. So yeah, so I like to work out best late in the beginning afternoon. That's just when I feel my best. You must be a Pitta dosha, best during midday. I don't even know what a Pitta dosha is. I don't know. I'm not a morning person because I go to bed around 2, 3 in the morning. The Roomba, I'm one of those people that plays my DVR and falls asleep and then rewinds and tries to finish the show and falls asleep. It's a bad habit. That's a habit my husband says I should change. And when we go on vacation, here you go. So when we go on vacation, you want to know what time I go to sleep at night? 10. I'm in bed sleeping at 9:30 or 10 every night without watching TV before bed. It's because of the change of the environment, the routine. That was it. But when I'm home, because of this routine, I haven't changed it. So I can go to bed early, even though I say I can't home because I've brainwashed myself about the environment and also doing work at night. So those are some things to think about. Hey, you guys got any more questions? Again, to wrap this up, if you want to send me a audio question. So if you want to ask your question live, go to speakpipe.com/Christine Dwyer. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about tricks that can increase your productivity and get more things done. Here's also something else that's going to be coming up next week. I was going to do it tomorrow, but I was like, Friday's a bad day to do this. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my exact blueprint of what I did when I got started in my network marketing business and how I was able to get started, ramped up, and explode literally, because as soon as I started in the business, I joined May 31st in my business that I'm in, 2008, and June, I was awarded the top coach in the company. So back then, the company I'm with used to award top coach monthly, and I was charging out the gate in the beginning. So what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to teach you some points, critical points that were critical in the beginning phases of growing a business that I did. And I'm going to actually give you a download that you can have that's a blueprint of actionable items, from start to really making that good pace and oh, good, please. That's funny. That will really make good pace and growth in your business. And of course, income too. So that I'm going to be doing next week. I was going to do it, as I said, tomorrow, but that's just a bad idea. I want to be able to give it to as many people as possible, and I got to find the best time. So if you guys want to recommend what time and put your time zone of when would be the best time for you to jump on a scope. Like if you could tell someone, get on a scope then. I would like for you to train me then. What time would that be? Put your time zone because I want to see what you guys want. Hey, thanks for jumping on Fitness Whisperer. We're almost done. We are wrapping up right now. But of course, you got the replay and the recording. Thanks so much for these hearts too. Again, you guys can keep tapping. So you like 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, Pacific early morning. That's going to be a rare one then, right? 7 Pacific, so that is 5 Central, 11. Oh, I'm going to start testing out doing scopes in the morning too. Not early morning because as I already told you, I don't get up before 8 if I don't have to. Thursday at 7 p.m. Alaska time. Okay, so that's I think it's 3 hours difference for me to Alaska because Pacific is 2. 8 p.m. or later Pacific. That would be hard for me. Yeah, so I can't do that one because that's 10 for me for sure. These are helpful though because it lets me see what time zone you guys really like to be on to get your information that you want for your business. So again, if you can still keep commenting, that's always helpful too. All right, I think we are done. Thanks again for jumping on. I really appreciate you guys, and I'm glad that we can connect. And a lunchtime one. So what does lunchtime mean, Cheryl, with like what time? Lunch with Christine. What time would that be? Like are you Central, Eastern? What time do I wake up? Normally I wake up around 8:30. I tried to stay, like this morning I woke up at 7:02. And I tried to get myself back to sleep, and I did. I was successful. I was able to sleep back into, I think, 8:30. But again, I went to bed when the Roomba went off. We have one of those robot vacuums. Thanks for all these times, because these are definitely helpful over here. The times are helping me out, because I'm going to go look back at this chat and kind of tally up when you guys are liking for these trainings to be on. But I usually go to bed when our robot vacuum goes off and says, okay, go to bed because I'm going to annoy you. Stop trying to watch that TV show. You keep falling asleep. Just go to bed. Turn it off. That's what the Roomba tells me. Thank you. I appreciate it, Stephanie. Thank you so much again. Awesome. Thank you, guys. All right. Well, I'm glad to be able to share this stuff with you again, and that will be tomorrow. Tricks to increase your productivity. Have a good sleep. Let's study up. Have a good Friday. Super Friday. Bye, guys. Thanks again.